Good morning. I don't want to sound too terse this morning, and I hate to have to set the record straight, but for the record, Monica Castro has not raised more money than the mayor this morning. And I take a little bit of offense that you put that on Twitter. So we're going to have a recount. I do not believe yet that charm and good looks outweighs the importance of the mayor. But saying that, I was present at a Blarney breakfast this morning where the funds went to a good cause, and so I'm happy that our friends were there helping raise money. And Monica, if you raise more, congratulations. But I will ask for a recount. We have a couple of topics that we do need to discuss this morning. One of them is the Kellogg and Webb traffic update that we want to provide, just a quick update, and then we have some special guests here this morning to provide some information on the Old Town safety update. But talking about the Kellogg and Webb, as you probably heard, we're changing and adding some restrictions to the turning movements there starting here this week. Left turn restrictions will soon be implemented in order to protect the construction workers and motorists moving through that intersection. It's critical that we maintain as much safety as we can. We recognize that intersection moves an awful lot of traffic, but starting actually the week of March 28th, nighttime construction will reduce Kellogg to one lane in each direction. And that will be between the hours of 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. So one lane each direction. I believe that all turning movements will be eliminated, all left turning movements from Kellogg onto Webb. You want to help me out? Eastbound can still turn? So westbound? So westbound Kellogg and north and southbound Webb, all left turning lanes will be eliminated for the duration of the project. So it's going to be kind of a lengthy time schedule that people will find some different routes. Also reducing the speed limit from 40 to 30. Again, just worrying about the safety of everyone, not just the workers, but the motorists too. So reducing that speed limit will be important to everyone. Old Town safety update. I have some folks that I want to introduce that we'll turn the podium over to. I want to recognize also that we have some council members here. Vice Mayor James Clendenin's in the room, Council Member Levanta Williams, and Council Member Janet Miller, who's been working on this issue for quite some time and been part of a group that's very interested in solving some of these issues. Councilmember Miller, thank you. I'm going to ask Chief Ramsey and Jason Van Sickle and Councilmember Miller if they would kind of come over here to this area, and we'll turn it over to them as they provide remarks, and then we will have some questions afterwards. Old Town certainly remains a crucial component in the vitality of our city, and we are committed to help keep it safe and yet a vibrant area. So we will turn it over to Chief Ramsey first to share some remarks, Jason Van Sickle, and then we will go from there. I know the city manager's here, and he's been very interested in what we are doing in that area and promoting some changes that we think will help enable our investment and the community's investment to continue to hopefully thrive in that area. So, Chief, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Mayor. All right. There it is. Well, good morning. My name is Gordon Ramsey. I'm the new police chief in Wichita. And I have the slide up there. I just wanted to point out a couple important issues that I want to make sure doesn't get lost in the discussion. You know, really, crime incidents are down significantly over the last few years. And I think a major part of it has been some police allocation of resources and working very closely with our partners in Old Town, the Old Town Association and the Downtown Development Corporation. But I do want to say, we're going to be very direct and decisive on dealing with these serious public safety issues when they come up. And we are committed and determined to maintain and enhance safety in Old Town. Some of the action we've already taken, I mentioned, after the shooting a couple weeks ago that we're going to meet with bar owners. And I want to give you an update on that. Myself and the leadership team at the police department met with the bar owners, and we really had great discussions. And there was no doubt in my mind that the bar owners are sincere and committed to ensuring that we maintain a safe environment there. Actually, I think the meetings couldn't have gone any better. We presented them with over 20 recommendations on what they should consider in developing their safety plans, and they seem to embrace those suggestions and recommendations. Overall, I was very pleased with their response and felt we had a great, productive conversation and a plan moving forward. In addition to the meeting with the bar owners, we also have been reviewing our staffing, and we've allocated additional officers at bar close time in the areas when we see spikes in police-related issues. And you can see on the chart on the right there that really it revolves around Fridays and Saturdays, and specifically around bar close time. Additionally, we're looking at changing policies to allow for hiring of police officers off duty by establishments in Old Town, which we think will be very beneficial. We're going to change some traffic patterns around bar close time to ensure that cruising is not occurring that may lead to additional problems, as well as recommending additional cameras in the area and additional lighting, improved lighting to help us with some of the issues. We're also examining and researching tools to help us be more nimble and to be able to quickly resolve problems when they arise. And we'll be bringing these recommendations forward to the city's leadership team. Some of the things that included are improved data collection and a swift response to crime and incident trends. Simple things such as also giving handheld ticket writers to our officers to expedite arrest situations, examining of ordinances to address nuisance properties and habitual offenders, and potentially using ambassadors. So those recommendations, like I said, we'll be bringing forward to the city leadership team. But we're working closely with the Old Town Association, the Downtown Development Corporation, to ensure that we maintain a safe environment. And I want to introduce the Old Town Association President, Jason Van Sickle.
I've been involved with Old Town for many years, and I've been the president for the last several years. And I just have to say that Old Town is an amazing, vibrant neighborhood, and it's a safe neighborhood. It's a great place for people to live, work, and visit, and it's one of the crown jewels of Wichita and one of the main catalysts for downtown revitalization. So we have had a long-term relationship with the city of Wichita and the police department to figure out how to deal with issues that arise when any neighborhood is evolving over time, especially given the fact that Old Town and downtown is one of the fastest growing neighborhoods in Wichita at this point. And so what we've seen is over the last several years, we had a very large bar that was in the Old Town area several years ago that got shut down, which helped significantly. A couple years ago, on the heels of that, we passed an entertainment district ordinance, which helped to bring stiffer penalties to anybody that wanted to cause problems. And then starting last year, we began working with the police department and the city of Wichita to look at additional measures we could take to continue to ensure safety. But the thing is we just got a very narrow window, which is basically around closing time at 2 a.m. on Fridays and Saturdays when we have issues. Other than that, it's a great, safe neighborhood for people to be in. And so we look forward to continuing to work with the police department and the city. We've had a lot of great plans that we put together, a lot of things we're going to be doing in the future. And I do have to say, I feel obligated to say that I personally, over the last couple of weeks, it's been my first opportunity to work with our new police chief, and the level of response and commitment that we've gotten from them is extraordinary. They've been incredible to work with. They're responsive to the issues that we bring up. They really want to understand the dynamics of what's happening in our neighborhood, and they want to be completely supportive to do everything they can to continue to make Old Town a great place. And so thank you to the police department, and thank you to the city of Wichita.
Jason, thank you, and we appreciate your efforts because we know that they're sincere. And want to offer a moment here for Councilmember Janet Miller, who's been involved in this too, to make a quick comment.
I, too, would just like to express my thanks to the Old Town Association and to Jason for their ongoing work. They've been around for almost as long as Old Town has been, and they're a driving force but in that area, keeping things going and growing, as we like to say. The police chief has come on at a time where we're can really use his new perspective on a lot of issues, and so that's been great to see that as well. I think what I'd like to close with in this regard is that we're sharing a lot of this activity, or talking about a lot of this activity, things we've been working on now, because we have had a recent safety security incident. But what I'd like for you to realize is that we are not being reactive to that. I mean, we started this next round, what we call the second phase of this safety planning last summer, and have been working on a set of proposals and recommendations to bring forward, and are in the final stages of pulling all of those together so that we can present them to the City Council for consideration, so that we can go back out to the Old Town establishments and get their input and buy-in on those. And so the city, the Old Town Association, WPD, we've been very proactive, and we will continue to be that way. And we know that Old Town it's like every other neighborhood, over time changes. And so just like we did in 2012, where we went through a round of changes that Jason talked about that dropped that spike down there, we're going through the next phase of that work now, which we anticipate will bring about even more improvements, but we know we're never done. So there will be a phase 3 at some point as well. So I just wanted to share that with you. Appreciate you being here, and thanks for everyone for your cooperative efforts.
Thank you. And we promise that one of these days we are going to improve the speed of government, where that phrase will become a good thing, Bob. And I know you're working on that. So at this point in time, I know some of you have asked for some of my expertise helping you with your brackets or any other questions that you might have. Certainly, any of the team is available to answer questions.
Can you talk a little bit about the plans to make Old Town safer? Or can you give us a little bit of insight on that? Or?
For the most part, what you've seen is what the chief kind of outlined. We know that there's some additional resources that we have to work through, and some of those old policies that we have to discuss about, why shouldn't we be able to hire off-duty police officers back into some of those establishments. And so those are some of the specific things in the plan, without getting too deep into it, that we know we're going to have to tackle. But it will be coming forward very, very quickly. I know the manager mentioned to me just this morning also that this is something that he knows that we need to address in a timely fashion, and speed up the process if we can at all. And so we're going to do that, and we'll get into more of those specifics beyond what I just shared and what the chief just shared, as we bring this forward to the council here very, very soon. We're really talking at this point weeks, not months. Weeks, not months.
The bulk of the work has been done, but we come up with a lot of ideas, and then there has to be some vetting of those ideas. Like, if we change this, is it possible legally to change this ordinance? Well, then it has to go for a law review and consideration, and so that has taken some time. The other thing we've done is looking at best practices around the country, and that takes some time to do research as well. So although he's joking about the speed of government, we have been meeting monthly and then doing a lot of work in between. And so it may sound like it's dragging on, but some of these things just take a while to actually research. We don't want to just slap something together that then has unintended consequences later. So I think we're within weeks. I think the council is going to be very supportive. Most of these ideas now have been vetted. The final proposal will probably come through with a couple of things that we still need to research further, but we don't want to delay it till we get that done. We can at least say this is something we want to look at, but
Right.
we still need to do it.
Yes.
Well, we talk about time, and then we have to talk about money. When you talk about the recommendations of adding more officers, adding lighting, different
Sure.
resources like that, obviously it's in the process, but has
Right.
there been kind of a vetted
That,
financial?
there has been, and that's something the city manager's already been working on, and how do we fit that into the budget, both from a capital standpoint and then an operational standpoint. And so when and Councilmember Miller's remarks were perfect. It doesn't appear sometimes that we're doing anything on the surface, but we're treading like crazy underneath the surface, and all of that is getting us to this point because of everything that we have to do behind the scenes to prepare for changes in laws and ordinances and budgets, and so we're getting very, very close.
If my memory is accurate, the Old Town Association helped pay for at least a portion of some of the security cameras that are in place now. Is that an option that's being discussed, or where is that?
Again, I think at this point in time, we're trying to fit some of that into the city's budget and figure out how we can use our capital outlay and some other things that will make those investments. But they're good partners. Recognize that they continue to be good partners, and there's going to be things that they can do from an operational standpoint that will continue to support the mission down there.
Is there an estimated cost as far as these initiatives right now?
I'm not sure we're ready to fully say this is exactly what it will be, but we're just a few weeks away from answering those kinds of questions.
Chief, you mentioned that the meeting with the borrowers went about as well as you could have hoped, or if I remember, there were two establishments that seemed to be the bulk of the issues that were being experienced. What was their reaction to your recommendations?
They embraced them. Yeah,
Chief. And you might repeat that question that he just asked.
Sure. The question was reaction by the bar owners to our recommendations. They embraced them. They were very interested. Many of them they had looked into already. They were aware of them. I don't think there was any surprises, but we discussed each of them at length, and like I said, they came across as being very committed and sincere in their efforts. So it left me very hopeful.
How many of those recommendations do you think you'll be able to pay for?
We'll leave copies for you if you want to see them. Yeah. Yeah, we'll leave copies for you. And I mean, some of them are very basic. They're not, I think one of the highest cost one may be a card swiper so they can, ID the people that come in.
How much easier does it make your job that it is that narrow window that Jason mentioned, that you guys can really focus on that when the bars are closing? You guys know when stuff is happening. Does that make that job a lot easier for you guys?
Absolutely. The old adage, what's predictable is preventable. And, we can prevent some of this stuff through having the right plan and action plan.
I'm assuming these are the most recent numbers you have available, and it was mentioned that this is not a reaction to something, although there was an incident. That trend shows downward. Do we have any indication that that's still the case, or is it going back up or stagnant?
Yeah, been working to get the 2015 statistics, but preliminary review shows that it's continuing that downward trend, and that is the effort we're going to continue to make.
Again, not being reactionary, but we are going to St. Patrick's Day. We are going into March Madness, of course. And given that most recent incident, are you guys preparing now to really kind of deal with this situation as soon as possible, given those timelines?
Yeah, as I mentioned, we've already reallocated staffing for that bar close time. And, I'm very comfortable that we have a good plan in place. to prevent, bad things from happening.
And typically, we haven't seen those fans during the noon hour get quite as rowdy. Well, thank you all. Enjoy your St. Patty's Day, and certainly want you to cheer on your favorite team, and more importantly, cheer on the Wichita State Shockers. Thank you.